Hey guys, this is Stefan Kohler, and today I will show you some magic made with our new package magic brushes. I have to say, until now, I was not a very big fan of brushes because, well, the way I see brushes is something like a stamp. You put it on your image and use it to have, I don't know, a lot of people use it for their watermarks or for, I don't know, hairs or something like that. And I think for that, textures are more advanced because they have colors and stuff. Whatever. I was not a big fan of brushes until I took some time to find the magic behind brushes. And well, we created that package, and this package shows, well, it's based on our textures. So we try to have the maximum quality and the maximum effect. And of course, they are awesome because they are magic. So I think I'm gonna show you the magic brushes. So my brushes palette here is quite empty, and this, okay, of course it's on purpose because I want to show you the most complicated installation process ever. So I've downloaded this ABR file. Actually, it's a zip file, and you unzip it and then you got this ABR file. Adobe brushes. I think it's the official thing for Adobe brushes. So what you have to do is carefully double click it, and then you have them all in your brushes palette, and that's it. So now I can show you the magic of the Raw X brushes. We have 60 brushes, and we have, for example, the Bubbles. Bubbles is one of my favorite brushes. They are medium size, so 400 pixel, and you can paint bubbles on your image. The resolution is large enough that you can see the whole studio here. So if you want to have a closer look, this is our personal 360-degree view from the studio. You can use, because I'm a big fan of working with a tablet, you can use the pressure on the tablet to control the brushes. So if you want to have a straight line of bubbles, you just press slightly on the table. They are small, they are in a straight line. If you add some pressure, they will get bigger and more confused. So you can do something like that, which is actually natural. So as they fly, they spread more, and well, you can use the brushes here. So we have different brushes. Of course, we have different brushes because we have different kinds of sharpness. We have different kinds of lighting. We have different kinds of focus, and we have, well, complete light from above. This one is amazing, by the way. If you have something like a diver and you want to have some bubbles underwater, so imagine a diver here. So this is working really, really well. And well, here we have another pattern of this diver thingy, and another one. This is made in a light tent. So if you have something like a room, you will probably use rather these bubbles. And if you really need a lot of bubbles, like a fish tank or something, you're probably using this one. So this one, this is really a field of bubbles. So they are partial in focus, out of focus, whatever. So it's a lot of stuff going on. So what can you do with the bubbles? I'm going to show you a real life example. So imagine you have your family, or the family of a friend, or the family of a friend's friend, and you have taken this image of the girl and the boy, and he's trying, or she's trying, you never know, trying to do some bubbles here, and you did this amazing photo, but well, there are no bubbles because technically it's not that easy to create these bubbles in the right moment, and so most of the time they look just rubbish. So you can just paint them in, or you can use another brush. If you don't like the lighting, use this one. Don't like the lighting, use the F1. So yeah, this looks kind of nice. Or, well, no, not a field of them. So gonna use this one. No, where is it? It's the D one. No, E. So yeah, this is the one I would choose. And well, you can just paint it in. You can create also bigger ones, but they will probably not look as good. So you a few ones, or well, do like this. So I think I would do it like this. So you have bubbles, and you can do it as often as you want, but you don't need to. You don't even need to have water inside of this thing. So, and they look awesome. So this is how you use the bubbles, and this is actually how you use all the things, like for example the lions. So let's see what they do. Well, if you press slightly, you get a straight line. If you press harder, then they get spread, and this is very nice. So we even have directional dandelions, so they follow the direction of your brush strokes. So if you have a van, for example, a fan, then you can do this kind of, I don't know, but this one is awesome for this picture, for example. So you just paint some in, and well, resolution wise they are even better than the original photo, so you can definitely use this. So we also have birds, and I also have an example for what you can do with the birds. This is pretty interesting. And well, I pick a dark color from the image, let's say this one, and I just paint in some birds. This doesn't look good because it needs some extra work, and I'm gonna show you that extra work. So I go to my, well, the problem is if you have birds like this, the birds are closer to the sun. Well, actually they are not closer to the sun, but in front of the sun, they would burn out like this. So you want to hide them, and you want to show them, and you go to the channels and look for a channel that has this gradient, which is not a green one, not a red one, but it's the blue one. The blue one has this gradient that the sun creates. And if you do a command or control click on the icon of the blue channel, you get a selection. The selection looks kind of weird, but it's basically a luminance mask, and you can use this luminance mask on your layer with the birds, and just click on the mask icon here, and then you have this as a mask. Of course, it's inverted, so you have to click on the mask and click a command or control I, so they are inverted. So now you have this burned out birds here, but you're also losing some contrast here. So I'm going to image adjustments levels, or command control L, and I just move the white slider to the left. I'm doing this on the channel here. The channel is selected, right? Not the channel, the mask is selected, right? So I'll move this to the left, and then I have this effect of this faded birds here, which is looking way much better than this one. So you can, with a few clicks, you can use the birds as birds for your images. Sometimes it's nice to have some birds in the background. And if you really want to go crazy, I mean, you can always use thousands of these birds. I mean, you can do whatever you want. You can rescale them. You can paint with them, whatever. Yeah. I have no idea what you have in mind with your birds. So we have feathers. Of course, we have feathers. Good brush set needs feathers. We have 3 kinds of feathers. These are the big ones, and we have smaller ones that are a little bit closer, and we have the field of feathers. So if you really need a lot of feathers, then you need this one. The first one is more random, so the rotation gets randomized. It's on the second one, it's not that strong, and on the third one, it's just a field. So a real life example for this, well, I can show you. It's good. This image, well, they are doing pillow fighting, but there is no action, so you can probably just, well, this is too big, so gonna rescale it, or I use the smaller one, the bee feathers, so, and just paint here in some of these feathers. I go back with the opacity a little bit so it fits the overall look, and well, that's it. So you can really do some magic here, and I don't know what you have in mind, but I think you get the idea of these brushes. So you can just use them as you use the textures, or you can use them as add-on for your textures. So let's jump to the, well, more creative stuff. So this is just the basics. So the more creative stuff is, for example, the bokeh. Bokeh is a brush where you can paint in your bokeh into an image. You can use the bokeh stamp for all kinds of stuff. You can, for example, let me make it a little bit smaller, you can use it to make things like, well, I don't know, like a fairy dust thingy or something like that. I mean, it's also pressure sensitive, so you can really get crazy with this. And well, the texture is quite rich. It's creating nice patterns by random patterns. So it's probably, I would not say it's better than textures, but it's different. So if you need 100% control, then you probably need to use the textures. But sometimes the brushes are giving another dimension to your image. So the bokeh C, so very slight bokeh. You can use this for photography as well to add some more city lights or something like that. It's very awesome. So the color ones are funny. So let's rescale them a little bit. They create a mass of bokeh dots. As long as it's white, it's pretty boring, but if you use, for example, red, the whole thing gets really colorful. Biased a little bit to red, but you can choose any color you want. If you need green, then you probably, you just switch green to green and it gets biased into green. And we have the second one here, which is a little bit more, well, I would say more controllable. So you can do, for example, things like that by raising the pressure, and well, do it a second time, do it a third time. So layer your effects, and well, paint something like that without a brush. I mean, this is really it's kind of a complex structure, isn't it? And because it's layered, so you don't see the repeated patterns or something like that. So now my favorite part is the dust brushes. The dust brushes are also based on our textures, so they are really super high quality. They are super high resolution, of course, and they are plain awesome. So the idea behind the dust brushes is that you just paint in your brush, paint in your dust, and you can just layer them up and have rich textures, rich fields of dust. So let's zoom in and see the resolution. Isn't it awesome? I mean, this is, you can see the small particles here, and it builds up to a field of dust, and you have definitely no repeated patterns, and you can rescale it and make smaller ones as well, and you can make even smaller ones, and you can make really small ones, and you can make really small ones, and you can paint things on it like this heart shape. So yeah, and this is just the A brush. So you also have very small brushes for dust if you need to fill in some, I don't know, like is it called a debris? I'm not sure about the wording right now. Anyways, you get the idea. So this is also dust package, dust brush from the dust package. If you press harder, you get a more spreaded version. If you need it to control it, you just use it very slightly and build the effect up. Next one, a little bit more spread, a little bit with holes in there. If you have, well, I have no idea. Well, I mean, the dust is pretty awesome. You can just use it for anything. I mean, this is a slightly out of focus partial, so you can use it as smoke brushes as well, or as fine water, something like that. Here you can see all the particles, and this one is actually particles pure. So build your next snowstorm at home. There is more. Let's see what this one is doing. So this is a very strong one. If you need to build a very large area of dust, you probably just use this brush and just paint over the whole screen or wherever you need the dust, and you can really build up that effect in seconds. And here we have another one. This is also very large and very randomized, so you have interesting things here going on. And of course, you have a little brush that is colorized, but you need to change the color to, for example, red, and then you can really paint in some of that crazy stuff that looks like a painter is going wild and, well, cut off his ear very soon or something like that. I don't know. I'm not a painter. So the next category is particles. Particles is, well, for the particles, you really need to paint some time. Well, you need a few strokes, well, actually quite some strokes, and then you will get this particle effect. The good thing here is, because it's built up, you never repeat the pattern. So you can really work with that. It's a lot of fun, and we have also bigger particles here, and some of them are also out of focus. Well, it's actually all the same, but the textures are different. So, well, they are exactly the same amount of awesome, but different. And for the magic dust or magic particles, of course, we have the colorized version. And if you choose another color, for example, cyan, then they are biased on cyan, but still colorful. Isn't it awesome? I think it's awesome. Let's zoom in. So you see this is really colorful and high resolution thing. And because it's a brush, so you're not limited to a certain size of the image. You can just paint the whole world with our brushes. Well, technically So another one, and this is also something to build up just using this. This is a little bit bigger and more crazy, this one as well. So you can see the brush here, and it's always rotating, right? So if you paint with that, every time it adds one particle, it rotates and randomizes the brush. So that's the way to that's why you get these rich textures, right? So, and we have another one. This one is amazing if you need snow or something like that, and it has some dust in it, so you can really do some funny things as well. For example, something like, well, if you paint on the side of the image, you get this nice glow, and you're instantly adding some kind of a color effect to it. I like that very much. Of course, particles with depth of field. You have a lot of particles with a lot of depth of field, and even more. And my favorite part, the color ones. Of course, you have the color ones biased to cyan this time, because I have cyan as my primary color. I can use a dark blue, for example, and well, this one is kind of crazy. This one is not as crazy, and this is biased to blue then. So yeah. So we have snow. Snow is also a nice brush, because you can really add some snow to your image. And well, you know this effect if you use a flash and make a picture of someone, then you get this snow effect, and this is basically what you can do with a brush here. And we have even more if you need more snow. Well, we have this snow textures. So the snow textures are 100% natural textures from snow. But some people said, well, I want really, really strong snow. So here you have it. You can have as much snow that the image becomes white. So feel free to add as much snow as you want. But it's not natural anymore. So it's not a natural kind of texture. So it's more like a CGI thing. We are always looking for real textures, because real texture is always better than a CGI thingy or something that manipulates the image very much. So that's the reason why we are using rather decent textures, because they simply look better. So next category is steam. The steam thingy is, yeah, I think you can imagine what the steam thingy is doing. It creates some kind of steam. So this is not particle anymore. So it's just steam. Isn't it awesome? It is awesome. So this one and the steam C, something a little bit bigger. So, and get rid of this, and next one. So you see, this is the principle is actually the same. So you can use these brushes to just paint in some smoke to your image, and this is, I mean, this is real smoke. So you can really use this to paint rich smoke textures. And I mean, if you don't paint the whole thingy, so it's not like if you paint with the brush a lot of times, then at some point it gets simply white and it doesn't look like real steam. But if you are a little bit careful with that, then you can really do some awesome steam there. And well, can imagine we have colorful steam. Biased to blue, biased to red, and let's do some green as well. So here you have the green magic smoke. So, well, this is pretty cool. I really like this one. So then we have rain. I'm gonna use white for this. So you can paint in some rain. If you need rain, this is probably helpful. We have different kinds of rain, of course. So if you need really, really strong Sin City rain, then you use probably the A or B. So here you can paint in some subtle rain, helpful. And the rain D this is now really crazy rain. And well, I said Sin City rain. If you really want Sin City rain, you paint some rain in, and then you go to, well, where is it? Motion blur, and set the angle so it fits the rain in your image. And you just do it like this, and then you can duplicate the layer and move it a little bit, and move the layer, and duplicate the layer, and move the layer. And so you can build this rain effect we all know from Sin City. Or you paint it in, also possible. So, and of course we have directional rain. So you can paint in a certain direction, and this is helpful because you can use this to create some sort of, well, like particles coming of an industrial machine. So if this is fire particles, you can simply paint them in, and they will have a direction. So let's zoom in. So you see they are all spread in one direction. This is pretty cool. So, and for the fun, well, if you have some kind of a star trooper, then you can use this brush. And if you ever wanted to know how it looks if you have them standing in a supermarket waiting, then you can just paint this in, and you can see how this looks. It's pretty amazing. It's pretty funny. I don't think the last 3 of the magic brushes are that helpful, but at least they are fun. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I mean, it's 27 minutes, 28 minutes long, so it's probably one of my longest English language tutorials, or not tutorials, videos. So if you made it to the end of this video, you should get a very big thank you, and I hope we see us next time on our awesome Facebook group, or I don't know, at Photokina soon. Anyways, take care, have a good time, and have fun with our magic brushes package. This was Stefan. Bye bye.